In this video, we are looking at a massive nor'easter to impact the East Coast. We're also looking at some more severe weather for the central US. Before we could get into the video, I would recommend subscribing to the channel so you won't miss another upload or live stream on these upcoming major weather events. Alright, so here is the current Storm Prediction Center outlook. As you can see, we do have a slight risk for severe storms, and this is a level 2 out of 5 in that yellow shaded area. That's for portions of Virginia and North Carolina. That's where you could see some scattered to widespread severe storms throughout today. We do have a 2% risk for tornadoes as well as a 5% risk for tornadoes. So you definitely do have that chance for multiple tornadoes or a couple tornadoes happening over there in North Carolina, Virginia, even reaching up to Ohio. You could possibly see a couple of tornadoes up there. Some very weak tornadoes, of course, not really strong tornadoes, but that possibility is still there. Here's that wind risk, and we do have a 15% chance for those 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, and we do have also a 5% chance around that yellow shaded area for that 5% chance for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. For the hail risk, we only have a 5% chance for up to quarter-sized hail. Here's tomorrow's outlook for severe storms, and as you can see, they have issued a level 3 out of 5 on the severe weather scale. This is an enhanced risk for severe storms, which is pretty decently it's not super rare, but you definitely see it often during the severe weather season. However, it is October, so we are in that kind of second season for severe storms, so we're also more likely to see these enhanced risks in October than in midsummer like August. But we do have that enhanced risk for severe storms, which is expected to see widespread severe storms tomorrow on Tuesday. We also have a slight risk again around that enhanced risk. That's where you could also see some pretty widespread severe storms. And then you get to the marginal risk, which is a level 1 out of 5. That's where you could maybe see some isolated severe storms. Let's look at the tornado risk. We do have a 5% chance for tornadoes. Unlike yesterday, which we had a 10% risk for tornadoes, we do have a 5% risk for tornadoes tomorrow. So definitely a lower chance. However, this could be upgraded in the future, so definitely keep that in mind. So 5% chance is still a pretty decent chance to see a few tornadoes in that area. Unlike the 10% chance where we saw multiple tornadoes yesterday back to back around southeast Missouri, we did see a couple of significant and intense tornadoes if you were watching the live stream. As you can see, we have a 30% chance for up to 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So you could definitely see some pretty dangerous winds within these storms tomorrow, and I may be doing a live stream, but it depends on the tornado risk. If the tornado risk does get downgraded or does stay the same, if it doesn't stay the same, I will do a live stream. If it downgrades, I probably won't do a live stream. So definitely turn on post notifications so you know when I do live stream. And in that hail risk, we do have a significant chance, a 30% chance for 1-inch size hail, and plus that kind of hatched region you see there in that kind of blacked area, that's where you could see 2-inch plus sized hail. So you could definitely see some pretty significant hail that could do some pretty serious damage in this type of area right there. Lastly, here's the day 3 outlook, which is Wednesday, and we do have also a slight risk for severe storms. That's again level 2 out of 5 on the severe weather scale, so not horrible risk for severe storms, but definitely that risk is there. That marginal risk, of course, level 1 out of 5, so you could maybe see some of those isolated severe storms. And those probabilistic outlook, we don't have the individual tornado, wind, and hail, but we do have the probabilistic for severe storms, which is a 15% chance in the yellow, and the brown, you do have a 5% chance for storms. Alright, here's the future reflectivity, or the future radar, which you guys call it. As you can see, this is around 5 p.m. of Tuesday, so this is again tomorrow on Tuesday. This is 5 p.m. Central Daylight Time. However, let's move forward here throughout the day or evening. We get to around 6 p.m. Still no storms developing. We get to around 7 p.m. now, and still no storms developing. We do have some showers over there, up there in Nebraska and South Dakota, but really nothing much going on yet. We get to 8 p.m. and you can see one supercell firing up there in Nebraska right there. It's definitely looking pretty strong already. That fired up very quickly. And we get to around 9 p.m. So we're getting pretty late here. So I think I'm gonna start live stream maybe 7 or 8 p.m. As you can see, those storms are really starting to fire now around 9 p.m. And let's go forward here again. We get to around 10 p.m. You can see these storms are really starting to get together here. We're getting, again, 10 p.m. of Tuesday. So you're almost into Wednesday already, and those storms are definitely, they're having a little bit of a hard time, but there's definitely still developing here. It's not super widespread, but there's definitely these severe storms that are ongoing. As you can see, those severe storms that are now developing around the Oklahoma City area. So that's going to be around 1 a.m. of Wednesday now. You can see those severe storms are still ongoing over there in Kansas. And we move forward here, and those kind of becomes a giant line of strong to severe storms, reaching from all the way from Iowa to Texas. And that's also going to impact Oklahoma City, Dallas, Topeka, Kansas City, Lincoln, Nebraska, all those cities like that. And it's kind of becoming very clustered here. It's definitely not going to be a very organized line, and it kind of breaks off. As you can see, we get to around the end of the loop. As you can see, it's pretty much all clustered, a very messy line there, and that'll be around 7 a.m. of Wednesday. Let's look at our supercell composite parameters, and as you can see, this is a pretty much model that defies the risk of those supercells that may develop over here. So we can see the risk of the possibility of some supercells developing. Let's move forward here to around when these cells start to develop. As you can see, we're seeing around a 20 chance. So that's around 50% chance you could see a supercell developing in this area. We also have a expected supercell developing over here in Nebraska, which definitely could be tornadic because it's going to be super discrete. There's not going to be much cells developing around that. So up there in Nebraska, that cell could be definitely decently tornadic. But as you can move forward here, that supercell composite pretty much starts to weaken here. Over there, Oklahoma, you still have a decent risk for supercells around 10 p.m. and then that pretty much disintegrates by around 4 a.m. So pretty much no supercells are going to be expected by then, but you could definitely see some short-lived supercells over there in Nebraska, Kansas, and even southwestern Oklahoma. You also have a pretty decent risk for some significant tornadoes. This is the significant tornado parameter model, and what this shows is it's pretty much putting all the tornado ingredient models all together and pretty much showing that main risk for tornadoes. And as you can see, we're seeing on a 4 to 5 chance for tornadoes, which again, that's around a 50 to 60% chance to see a tornado with some of these storms. As you can see, this doesn't reach much in Nebraska. This only reaches into a little bit of extreme southern Nebraska there, but that's kind of where the idea of that supercell is going to develop around this type of area. So that supercell, again, is going to have a tornado threat, which is going to be very discrete. So it's going to have a bigger chance of tornadoes. But all those tornado ingredients pretty much disintegrate again by around 12 a.m. or 1 a.m. All of those tornado ingredients pretty much disintegrate from there on out. So pretty much these are going to be very short-lived supercells, but they're definitely going to have a very decent tornado threat throughout the overnight hours. We can lastly look at our surface-based CAPE values, and we can also look at a couple soundings here. Let's go ahead and move forward here. As you can see, these cells are only going to have around 2,000 joules per kilogram, which is definitely very general in the October months. We usually see very high CAPE values, which are, again, energy within the atmosphere that triggers storms, that pretty much fuels storms. But we do usually see some very high CAPE values in the spring months, like up to 5,000 or 6,000 joules per kilogram. You even saw up to 7,000 over there in Illinois, I think, around June. So we saw some extreme CAPE values this year. But in the October months, those CAPE values really shrinking. So these storms only have around 2,000 joules per kilogram, but we still have a big hail risk due to some very cool air aloft that those storms will hit and pretty much develop hail. And it's going to be very cool air aloft, so it's going to really hang on to the hail, so the hail is going to really develop within the storm. And then by the time it falls, it's going to be around 2 inches size hail, so it's going to be pretty big hail due to some very cold air aloft in the atmosphere. So that's why that's that big hail risk. Not because we have a bunch of cape, but due to that very cold air aloft, we're expected to see some pretty decent sized hail and possibly damaging hail over there in Kansas and Oklahoma. But those cape values really shrinking once those storms really suck up all of that energy, and those storms are really not going to have anything to hold on to around 6 a.m. So that's why they're going to become very clustered around the very early morning hours. So they're going to become more of strong storms than severe storms, and more rain showers than actually organized storms here. All right, now we're going to look at this nor'easter, which is expected to bring some pretty decent impacts to the northeast. Let's go ahead and move forward here throughout this model run. As you can see, we're seeing some very heavy rainfall due to some severe storms throughout today over there in the mid-Atlantic. As you can see, that heavy rainfall increases over there in New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, now into New England here. And as you can see, that low pressure is becoming very strong here. 982 millibars. That would be a tropical storm. However, this won't be tropical. So this is going to be a nor'easter that does impact the northeast, of course. But 976 millibars, that's becoming like hurricane force winds over there in Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and Connecticut. You could possibly see some hurricane force winds for a little bit, and that could deal some damage. We do have actually a tropical outlook that this could become a tropical system. However, it is still at a medium chance of becoming a tropical system. So you don't have a big chance of this actually becoming a tropical system. However, this is looking a lot like some sort of tropical system. But you are going to see some very heavy rainfall with this, possibly up to 8 inches of rainfall over there in the northeast due to those severe storms. Plus, this heavy rainfall events that's going to impact around Wednesday. So definitely stay tuned with this. I will give you guys updates if this actually does become a tropical storm. But nonetheless, this is going to be a very strong nor'easter that does bring a lot of rainfall and a lot of flooding over there in the northeast. And it's also going to bring a lot of heavier wind. So definitely stay tuned with that. If you want more updates on both of these superstorms, be sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel. And also make sure to turn on post notifications so you won't miss another upload or live stream on the channel. But anyways, stay safe.